Well, each year 20 to 30 South Australians will fall victim to meningococcal disease, most of them either children or young adults under 25. Well, despite the best efforts of scientists, an effective vaccine against the most prevalent strain remains elusive, as does an answer to why the bug's harmless to some and yet fatal to others. Simon Roll reports on how one young South Australian survived meningococcal disease to become one of the state's most talented athletes.
Beijing was amazing for me. When I was going through hospital, that was something I really wanted to do, go to the Paralympics and to achieve that goal and then get over there and swim really fast as well. It's just amazing.
Jay Dohnt of Australia in lane number 6.
I think Jay going to Beijing was like a tribute to all the nurses and doctors at the hospital.
Off they go.
A lot of people that you meet, friends or whatever, want to talk about his achievements, but I mean, the biggest thing about Jay is he's just a great kid. No, that's the most important thing in my mind.
Next through would have been Jay Dohnt, is fairly handy. Lindsay.
Jay Dohnt didn't expect a medal in Beijing, but then he swam his fastest time ever, and it won him a bronze.
And Jay Dohnt wins a bronze medal for Australia. Great effort by Jay. 4:59.47 for him.
The 19-year-old's path to the Paralympics included hard work and even harder training, but it really began one evening in 2003 at the Women's and Children's Hospital.
I remember the day I got sick. I was just in bed. I was just started year 8, 2 weeks into year 8, and I was just in bed and I was really sick.
He just kept asking for chocolate milk, I want chocolate milk, and they were just astounded that this kid could just even speak, let alone anything else.
I think that the biggest part that I remember was that I could see blotches on him, but by the time we got him into ICU and into a cubicle, I walked in about probably only 2 or 3 minutes later, and it's almost like the blotches were just appearing in front of my eyes, and that was where I realised that he's going to really struggle to pull through.
I remember Jay coming in about 6 years ago. He was a very sorry case indeed, extremely ill, with multiple vascular blockages affecting his limbs and digits, and we thought he had a very high chance of dying.
That illness was meningococcal disease, and it was the reason doctors amputated both of Jay Dohnt's legs below the knees and all of the fingers on one hand. Their work made the difference, but so did early detection by his grandmother, who knew the disease's telltale signs.
She'd read about it in the magazines and she just was very mindful of this disease, so, you know, she probably saved his life.
A few floors up from the emergency room where doctors fought for Jay Dohnt's life, researchers study the bacteria that almost ended it. And as Associate Professor Paul Goldwater explains, meningococcal has many mysteries.
It's quite unusual in that it's a bug that's carried in the population by on average, about 10% of the population. And for some reason or other, the organism acquires increased virulence and can cause disease, whereas in the carrier population, it doesn't cause disease.
And Paul Goldwater says that's not the end of the mysteries. There's an effective vaccine for type C meningococcal, but unfortunately not type B, which is what affected Jay Dohnt. Girls tend to be more susceptible than boys. The disease causes meningitis, which is a brain infection, or septicemia, which is a blood infection, or both. Septicemia is by far the more serious. It has a 10% mortality rate, which Paul Goldwater says in this day and age is extraordinary. And for many survivors, life changes.
It's a lifelong legacy they have to live with, and generally speaking, they tend to manage extremely well, as we see with Jay.
What do you put that down to? And now, I don't know if there's a scientific explanation for that or not.
I don't think there is. I think it comes down to personality. Yeah. Spirit.
I can remember when he left the hospital, he came past here to thank us all, and he said, I'm going to get to the Olympics, the Paralympics, even at that stage. And he was a boy with great determination even back then.
Come here.
And a great sense of humour too. Jay Dohnt says he chose swimming because, unlike football, you don't really need legs to do it. Even now, 6 years after meningococcal, that sense of humour remains crucial. Jay Dohnt's just had an operation to trim bones that, despite amputation, keep growing, and he may face more. He says people are always curious.
Kids are very open, as you probably know. A lot of them just go, "You haven't got legs, you haven't got fingers." My cousins call my hand my squishy hand. But that's just kids, you know. One of the jokes I say, they say, "What happened to your legs?" And I was like, "Didn't eat my vegetables." So his face, oh. So hopefully I'm inspiring a lot of young people to eat their vegetables. It's my aim in life.
Actually, his aim in life is far more modest. Jay Dohnt wants to turn bronze into gold in London in 2012. And along with scientists at the Women's and Children's Hospital, the young champion wants to see the day where there's an effective vaccine against all types of meningococcal.
Simon Rowe reporting, and no doubt we'll be hearing a lot more about Jay Dohnt. In a